Nah, that ain't it, y'all.
Listen, man.
I did not think that it was possible, but Netflix has somehow done the unthinkable. They have somehow done the unimaginable. They have somehow done the unfathomable. And the biggest crime that they have just committed, the biggest crime, the biggest sin that Netflix has committed, apart from the fact that they have not yet uploaded all of the raw vault library for WWE on Netflix. They still have not uploaded anything, but the biggest crime that is actually above that crime is that Netflix has successfully made me hate Squid Game, man. And I really did not want this to happen. I really did not want this conclusion to happen. I never ever thought in my life that I would ever hate such a great series like Squid Game, because I remember exactly where I was in 2021 when this series got released, man. I was really baffled because I was witnessing greatness. I was witnessing a masterclass in storytelling, a masterclass in suspense, a masterclass in gory scenes that were so creatively crafted. And I was thinking to myself, damn, Netflix just dropped this banger and the season just ended. We saw that Song Ji-hoon, he won the entire Squid Games. So in my honest opinion, I actually wanted Squid Games to not continue because I wasn't really trusting the creative output that Netflix was putting out at the time. Because to my complete honest opinion, I do believe that Squid Game in 2021 was one of the only few outliers that were really, really great that Netflix released. But when we now reach season 2 a couple of years later and I watched season 2, I did not like season 2. I did not like how the story was crafted. I felt like it was too slow in the beginning, then up until the end it was rushed, and they did not have a conclusive ending. They ended season 2 on a horrible cliffhanger by having Song Ji-hoon's plan fail, and they had the front man confront Song Ji-hoon, and the front man now revealed himself to be the one that was manipulating, and he was acting as if he was the best friend of Song Ji-hoon. So now that we reach season 3, I hoped that they would actually right a lot of these wrongs. I hope that they would get rid of the unnecessary characters and the unnecessary story threads and the unnecessary story beats, and they did some of that, don't get me wrong, and they actually did a lot of great emotional scenes, especially this scene with Park Young-sik and the mom Jang Jumja. But bro, the scene where we actually witnessed both of their demises, in my honest opinion, I do believe that even though I don't really like season 3 as a whole, their character dynamic and how their stories ended really was heartbreaking, because we saw that entire game that was crazy where the red team will have to find and hunt anyone that is a member of the blue team, and if you kill someone basically on the blue team, you go into the next round. But if you're a member of the blue team and you somehow manage to survive the entire ordeal, or you somehow manage to find this exit doorway that when you open the door you are safe. But throughout this entire game, we see that Park, in my honest opinion, I don't like that they wrote Park in this way, because he actually was trying to slime out his own mom, even though in season 2 we saw that in the beginning of season 2 he was a coward. He didn't really want to stand up for his mom. He didn't even want to stand up for himself, and he was basically putting his mom in harm's way, because by his own stupid choices and his own stupid decisions, he brought himself into Squid Games. But she was actually following him because she wanted to help him, but as she was following him, she saw that he entered these deadly games, so then she now herself had to enter these games in order to tell him to leave these games. But of course it was too late. There was no leaving Squid Games except for the democratic fair voting. But we see that Park, he is trying to not be on his mom's side during this game, because he wanted to be on the the red team so that he can actually kill other people. I forgot how exactly he said it, but he was trying to do it so he can protect the mom. In my honest opinion, I think that was bad writing, because how would he know that he would protect the mom when that entire maze was confusing as fuck, and it was very hard to find your own people or your own people that you're trying to support or defend. So in my honest opinion, I do believe that he should have been blue, because he would have been helping out his mom. He would have been at least trying to help his mom to find another doorway. And if the combined forces of Park, his mom, Kim, and Cho, if all of those 4 people all joined up together, they would have had a better chance in finding that doorway. And actually all of them could have had all the keys, because remember, the other 3, they had the keys. So I didn't like how the story was leading up to their eventual end, but I did like how their stories ended, because we see that Jang, she makes the horrible decision in killing her own son, because her son was tweaking. He saw the baby that literally just got born from Kim. He saw the baby and he was still trying to kill the baby. And this is all after Cho's death. Because remember, Cho, she died earlier up until this moment. But Park, when he saw the baby, he was still trying to kill the baby. He was trying to convince the Kim that, oh, it's just a baby. The baby doesn't matter if I just kill the baby right now. It doesn't matter. I haven't killed anyone yet. Time is running. I've been a coward throughout this entire time. I haven't even killed anybody. So I need to find a way to get to the next level. And he was tweaking. So, you know, if you're a mom, or if you're a dad, hell, if you're a parent and you're actually looking at your son trying to kill a baby, and this is an ultimatum because you're realizing that if he doesn't kill his baby, he'll die, but if he kills his baby, he's going to be just a complete disgusting person, because why are you trying to kill a baby? But the thing is, if he just actually kills the baby and now you and your son are going to be free, how are you going to live with the decision that you let your own son kill a little innocent baby? So the mom, she had to do the hardest decision, but in my honest opinion, the morally sound decision, because she now killed her own son, Park. And when she now killed her own son, Park, her eventual demise was getting closer and closer, because after she killed her son and the day passed, and then next thing you know, we're now seeing that now Song Ji-hoon, he is by himself. He's still kind of being a loner, but Kim, she is now having to deal with the fact that she's a new mom. But then the mom, she is now actually comforting Kim, and she's telling her that the only thing that's important right now is you need to keep that baby safe. You need to keep yourself safe. But then after she now tells Kim this, she now goes to Song, and she now talks to Song, trying to convince Song that he is the only one that can protect Kim and the baby, because the dad is a deadbeat. He's not helping her out. So Song Ji-hoon is the only one that could be the beacon of hope for this family. But the thing is, man, overnight when everyone goes to bed, she commits suicide. As a mom, as a dad, as a parent, you're going to kill your own kid, even if it is the morally sound decision. You killed your own child, and her own child is a child that she has been trying to get this kid, get this man to get on his feet. So after this happens and she not commits suicide, I think that was a sad moment. But to be honest with you, I think that was the only sad moment, because this season pissed me off, in my honest opinion, because they were killing off a lot of main and supporting characters very early on in the season, man. And they were actually starting to kill a lot of the main supporting characters in episode 3. And one of those deaths was Kang Dae-ho, because bro, they wasted his entire death after the end of season 2, when we saw that he was a coward and he actually caused a lot of the people to die. We should have been showcased a more important and a more impactful encounter with Kang and Ji-hoon. But the thing is, the show did not give us that. They just only gave us 30 seconds of an entire character development, and this 30 seconds was just Kong saying, oh, I did all of this because I was so scared. I'm so scared. I was so scared. I was trying to impress you guys. I'm sorry. That shit was ass in my honest opinion. And then next thing you know, Kang Dae-ho died because of Song choking him to death. Then the next death that we saw very, very early is Cho, because Cho, she was an actual formidable supporting character. She was actually the main person that was leading the charge during the attempted revolt at the end of season 2. But then they killed Cho so early in episode 3, and I understand why they did kill Cho. It was pretty impactful, but it's another example of a main supporting character being killed too early. And I already spoke about Park's death. I already spoke about Park's mom, Jong's death. Another character, Swan Neo, she was this psychic that was leading people. She was being a false prophet. She was basically being a scammer inside the Squid Game, and I really liked her character. She wasn't a really important supporting character, but she was one of the supporting characters in the show. But they killed her off in episode 3, and they also killed off Nam-gyu at the next episode in the next challenge, because Nam-gyu was a junkie. Then that cowardly, timid person that was inside this game, Nam-gyu was bullying that cowardly person. Then later the tables turned, and Nam-gyu, since he's a junkie, the cowardly person, used Nam-gyu's addiction to drugs to his advantage, and he now threw the keychain that actually had Nam-gyu's drugs. But the thing is, that cowardly person actually took that drug and he hid it in his palm. So then Nam-gyu now died during that next challenge, and the only people that they kept alive that were supporting characters, either up until the end of the season or they just didn't completely die in this entire season, Hwang Junho, Lee Myung-ji, and Kang Noel. Now, Kang Noel, she survived up until the entire season. Lee Myung-ji, he died at the end of the entire season. And Hwang Junho, he now later survived as well. But you're seeing a pattern here. You're seeing that they killed a lot of important characters for a lot of jabronis and a lot of jobbers that nobody cares for. Nobody wanted to see all of these no names at the end of the season. We wanted to see the important characters up until the last episode, but we saw a lot of these no name and annoying ass characters, man. The episode quality of season 3 is better than season 2. I felt like the episodes were better paced, and I felt like a lot of the episodes had actual stakes. And there was this game that was very nerve-wracking when, you know, it was like a big jump rope. Like, that jump rope was so strong that even if you're lying down, that jump rope can just hit you and you can fall off. That episode was pretty nerve-wracking in my honest opinion, especially seeing Song Ji-hoon carry the baby, and he now, you know, was jumping with the baby. But unfortunately, Kim, in that episode, she had to die, because remember in the earlier game when we had that hide and seek with the red people killing the blue people, she broke her leg in that game, and it caused her to be completely immobile with this jump rope game. So unfortunately, she had to make the tough decision in killing herself because she wanted the baby to succeed. But now that we get to the final game, and this final game has these large, long, tall 3 pillars that has a circular pillar, a square pillar, and a triangle pillar. And you know, the last participants were all trying to kill the baby except for Song Ji-hoon, and that later turned junkie. He's a weirdo. I'm not going to talk about him a bit. Thank God he died. But the other guys, they're weirder than the aforementioned weirdo I just talked about, and thank God all of them fell to their own demise. I'm not going to go in depth as to how they fell into their own demise, but thank God they all died. But the biggest weirdo of this entire season was the father, because this nigga, he had a plan on even trying to kill the baby, because you would think that this nigga was trying to at least step on the button so that the last game could start. But no, he just wanted to kill Song Ji-hoon so that when the last game started, he would not kill the baby. So thank God he died too. But now Song, he had to make a decision, because since that fight happened before the game started, Song had to start the game, and Song eventually had to come to terms terms in killing himself because he wanted the baby to actually live a normal life and to live a good life. But then after Song's death, the thing that pissed me off is the fact that the police coastal guard, I really wanted them to arrest the front man, to arrest the VIPs, to arrest all the soldiers, because that is how a series should end. Remember, the creator of Squid Game said that the entire show of Squid Game is going to end with season 3. So in order to get a good conclusion that can actually talk about the systematic unfairness as to what's happening, because the police have been oblivious for 3 seasons. The first season, they did not believe anyone talking about Squid Game. The second season, they did not believe anyone talking about Squid Game. Now the third season, they do not believe anyone talking about Squid Game. The police have been completely useless in this entire show. Now I know that a lot of these criminal underworlds are actually very active in the world today, but you would think that in the big year 2025, the police aren't really trying to look into a series of cases that a lot of people are coming forward and are telling the police that, oh, this crazy game that I had to play, and if I didn't play I would die. You would think that even though it wasn't like an influx of witnesses coming forward, remember it was only Song Ji-hoon, and it was only, I forgot this criminal's name, but he was helping out Song Ji-hoon in season 2, and then his friend now died in front of him due to that guy playing Dachi. But him too, like, you would think that at least 2 or more people, and even the police officer, remember that he got shot. The police officer that got shot by his own brother, Hwang Jun-ho, he got shot, and he was telling the police this happened as well. So you would think that the police department will do a quicker, bigger, and a better case, right? That's not what happened in the series finale, because they made the front man, the VIPs, the soldiers, everyone that partook in these horrific crimes, they made all of them escape, and none of them had any conclusions. And I hated the VIPs so much in this entire show. I thought that they should have died, or they should have at least gotten arrested. Obviously saying that they should have died is completely unrealistic, but they should have at least gotten arrested. A lot of these guys should have at least gotten their comeuppance. And the annoying part is that now that they completely blew up the entire mountain, now nobody is going to know about this. This is just going to be an urban legend, or it's going to be folklore. So I don't like how that ending played out. And now that the frontman has escaped, we see that he visits Song Ji-hoon's daughter's house, and he gives the daughter the entire clothes and the money as well. And he also goes to Hwang Jun-ho's house, and he gives Hwang Jun-ho the baby of Kim. So this just is going to show that nothing has been learned. The main antagonist has not been defeated, because every single person that partook in these games, except the soldiers that got killed in between the seasons, have all gotten off scot-free. And now that we're going to see that even in America, in Los Angeles, California, the front man was driving around the entire city, and he saw in between the alleys that an American version of Dachi was being played, and this lady was playing Dachi and slapping this homeless guy. So it seems that the operations that is happening in South Korea is also happening in America. So I'm thinking to myself, wow, look, I know a lot of great shows that don't have conclusive endings, and those great shows are still great, but this one made me hate Squid Game, because wow, that means all of this was for nothing. All of this was completely for nothing. Like, I know some of these stories that are being told, they are very good. You know, a lot of stories do not have happy endings, but come on, man, like, we needed a good conclusive ending. If you're gonna tell us that this is the series finale, we need something that is gonna give us closure, and we did not have any closure, man, because Song Ji-hoon died, every protagonist died, hell, even the antagonists inside the games, they died, except the front man, except the VIP, and except all of those other soldiers that survived. They did not get arrested or prosecuted or even interrogated, and I'm just like, wow, that's crazy, bro. And another reason as to why this show is so hot ass is because how they handled Hwang Jun-ho's entire story, man, because you're mean to tell me that Huang has been spending 2 entire seasons trying to find this island. He is trying to find his brother. He is trying to uncover this mystery. But at the end of the entire season, we are only going to see one little interaction that lasted 15 seconds, and it just really showed Huang being a dumbass. He was asking his own brother, the front man, why? And bro, why are you asking him why, bro? You spent 2 entire seasons trying to find your brother, and all you can ask is why? This season is so ass, man. But man, I've been ranting for a long time, bro. I think season 3 wasn't really good in my honest opinion. I think that they should have just left it at season 1. They should have not released season 2. Season 2 was ass in my honest opinion, and season 3 so far is very, very ass at the end, but the beginning and the middle was pretty good. It was pretty fun, but the end is hot dookie in my honest opinion. I don't like the ending, bro. That's the end of the video. I'm out. What do you guys think of this season down below? Let me know in the comments. Peace.